Welcome to Toyota Time with Timmy the Toolman and Sean. Today, what I'm going to share with you is a recent purchase I made for the YouTube channel, and that is a scanner from the company Topdon. For the longest time, I have been thinking about getting a scanner to get better at vehicle diagnostics, and I spent a lot of time searching different companies, different levels of scanners. I joined a YouTube channel called Scanner Danner. That guy is super knowledgeable on vehicle diagnostics. He actually teaches at a technical school, I think in Pennsylvania. And I learned a lot, but I delayed on pulling the trigger on buying something. On my recent trip to SEMA this last year, I stopped by the Topdon booth because my buddy Vincent owns a Topdon scanner and he was telling me good things about them. And so I talked to them and I was able to get one of their scanners. One of the reasons why my buddy Vincent recommended Topdon is because of their customer service. And I found that to be very true because when I was first setting this thing up, I ran into an issue where I didn't know how to do the next step for the setup. I called the Topdon helpline. I got a person right away. I didn't have to go through some crazy phone tree. I was able to get help super quick, and I got the thing set up to where I can actually start using it. Like a lot of manufacturers that make scanners, Topdon makes everything from a low-level scanner all the way up to a very high-end scanner that shops would use that have an oscilloscope capability to where you can do very intricate diagnosing of vehicles to accurately determine what part has failed and not just throw parts at it. That Scanner Danner guy that I mentioned, his whole slogan is, don't be a parts changer. And so I have to admit, over the 10 years I've been operating this YouTube channel, I have in some respects been a parts changer because I did what I had at my current level of ability with diagnostics and then ran out of options and decided, okay, well, I think it's this part, let's change this part, and fingers crossed, hope that it was the part that was bad and I didn't end up wasting money. So having a scanner like this can end up saving you a lot of money when you can accurately determine what component on the vehicle is bad and you just change that component and get your vehicle back in running condition. For this video, I'm not going to do a whole setup because I know that's something you can handle very easily. The instructions that Topdon offers is really good. They have one of those QR codes that you could scan with your phone or a tablet or a laptop, and you can get the instructions for the setup. And I did that yesterday, and it went pretty good other than this one problem I had where I had to call Topdon to help me out because there was an update in the software, but the instructions weren't updated, so it caused me a little bit of confusion in the setup. So I'll unbox this and then I'll show you everything this Topdon 1 scanner includes. The scanner comes in this nice, well-built plastic case. It's very sturdy. So I'll swing this around and open it up for you. You've got the scanner tablet right here. It's Velcroed in. It has a nice big screen so you can easily see the information that you're viewing. It's got the OBD2 VCI that you plug in so you can access the vehicle's computer. And then in these accessory compartments, you have some cables. They come in these nice plastic bags. You have an OBD2 cable that extends it to where you can hook this up and then hook the other side up to your vehicle's OBD2 port. And then on this side, you have a set of gloves they give you. They give you a USB-C to USB cable, and then there's another charger port and a USB-C to USB-C cable that you can plug into the tablet to keep it charged up. And then there's these two plugs that are for the UK and for the rest of Europe. I've never used these in my life because I'm working in the US and not over there. Here's that charger adapter and cable that I just talked about. And this is how you would use one of these European adapters. Instead of like the US where you would flip that up and plug it into your wall socket, you keep it down and then you just slide it in like this. So that's everything that comes with the scanner. Now what I'll do is I'll give you a real world example of how you would use this on a vehicle. I have a guy over my house, his name's Peter. He's having a problem with his 100 series Land Cruiser, and we're gonna hook up his vehicle to the Topdon 1 scanner, and we're just gonna see what the scanner tells us about his vehicle. Before I hook up the OBD2 VCI to the OBD2 port and Peter's rig, I wanted to tell you what his current problem is. He's been noticing a rough idle under startup, and then it goes away after the engine warms up. And then another problem he just realized this morning is that his brake pedal is going all the way to the floor, and he has an ABS light on. So hopefully the scanner is going to help point us in the right direction of what might be happening with his rig. So I'm going to use this extender to hook up this VCI. You could hook this directly up, but I kind of like using the cable. So you have a male end on this end, and I'm just going to slide it in and hook it up. And now we'll go into the vehicle on the driver's side, and we'll go up underneath the dash, and I'll show you where the OBD2 port is on Peter's 100 series Land Cruiser. So coming in from the driver door, you can see the brake pedal and the gas pedal. And then I'm going to point up towards the center console, and my finger is pointing right at it. So it's basically up underneath the dash, closest to the center console. Right now, the center light is red in color, meaning it's connected, but it's not yet connected to the computer. When the tablet is connected to the computer, this right LED will turn blue. I've got the tablet on top of my toolbox. I'm going to turn on the power here. Just hold it for a few seconds and it turns on. So it's starting up. And what's nice is this has a fold-out stand, and this stand will work to put it up onto some type of flat surface. You could also hook this on top of your steering wheel. So I'll let it go through its startup. Okay, the system started up, and I'm going to go to Vehicle Diagnostics. And then in the top right of the screen, it says VCI, and I'm going to click on that. And I'm already connected to the VCI. You could connect up 3 different ways. Currently, I'm connected with my Wi-Fi in my shop. You could connect via Bluetooth, or you could actually connect up directly with a cable. There's a cable that is a USB-C to USB. There's a USB port on the top here, and then the connection on the VCI is a USB-C, and you can just connect directly with the cable. So right here, this 100R8, that is the code for the VCI that's currently connected up to the OBD2 port inside the vehicle. So I am connected. So I'm going to back out of this, go back to the home screen. I'll click on Vehicle Diagnostics, and then I have to search for the vehicle. You can do it a few different ways. You can manually input the manufacturer. I could put in Toyota or search along the list and find it. But there's a ability to check it by VIN. So I'll click on VIN, and then you could do auto VIN, where it will look it up. Now, not all vehicles have this capability. This is an older vehicle, and I tried it out on my 98 4Runner, and it didn't work, and I had to enter it manually. But let's try it and see if it picks it up. So first, I have to make sure that the vehicle ignition is in the on position. So let's go do that. So Peter's just going to put the key in the ignition and turn it to the on position. Not accessory, it has to be in the on position. And then it'll just close the door so it doesn't make a bunch of noise. There's currently an ABS alarm going on, so there's a little bit of ringing in the background, which is unfortunate, but let's just roll with it. So let's try the auto VIN feature. Okay, it's reading right now, so let's see what happens. Let's see if it picks up the VIN automatically. So it looks like it failed. the vehicle's too old for that feature, so we're going to have to input it manually. I can type it in, or I could use the camera function to scan it. So I'm going to try the camera function. So I'm going to click right here, and it's going to bring up the camera function. And I got this little box. So I'm going to bring it up to his windshield and see if I could scan this. Not picking it up through the windshield. I think through the windshield is a little bit hard. Yeah, I think that's too dark. I'm going to try to get it from the inside of the driver door. I tried to scan it from the door jamb on the driver's side, but it wasn't working very well. So I have his registration out here, and I'm going to scan the code from his registration. Focus on that. Hold it steady. Okay, I was able to capture it. I just click on confirm. I'll click on Toyota and click confirm. It's listing his VIN number. I'll just click confirm again. You can choose Europe or other countries, or the USA. I'll choose USA. And then it has all of his information. From the USA, Land Cruiser, it's a UZJ model. It's a 2UZ engine, which is a 4.7 liter engine, 1999 year, and his VIN number. Click confirm. And then you have these hot functions, which are things you can do. I'm not 100% sure it will do all of these, but I know for sure it can do the ABS bleeding. So that's a nice function. I've done a hydraulic brake boost replacement on 100 series, and I had to use the TechStream program to do it, but this is going to allow me to do it with this Topdon scanner, which is cool. I'll click on it just to see what it shows. So you can do the air bleeding, the test mode. Let me click on air bleeding. So click on next. And then, it starts and it says, welcome to the air bleeding utility, and you just go through all the steps. I'm not going to do all that, so I'm going to back out of this. Now I'm going to go back out. So I'm now going to choose auto scan, and I'm going to see what systems this Topdon computer can access with the 100 series Land Cruiser. The newer the vehicle, the more systems you're going to be able to access. So an older vehicle is going to have less modules you can get access into to do different functions. So I'll click auto scan, and then you'll see that this is showing what the OBD2 port, and I can access the brake system, the supplemental restraint system, the engine computer. I don't know what these other two stand for, CCS and IMMO. Let's just click on one and see what it means. Oh, it's cruise control. So that's cruise control, so you could do stuff with the cruise control. Let's click on this IMMO. And that is the immobilizer. So these are all the functions that it can do. But I want to go into the brake one first, and let's just see what it shows us about the braking system, because he is getting that ABS problem. So I'll click on enter the system. Now for this function, we have to have the engine running. It says be sure that the engine is idling. So we're going to have to start this thing up. We're going to open up one of the garage doors. We're going to start it up, and then we'll see what we see. All right, we have the vehicle running. I'm going to click next. So it says the ECU controls anti-lock brake system, vehicle stability control, and brake system that controls the safety performance of the car. I'm going to click next. So I'm going to see if there's any trouble codes here. So read DTCs. So it's got two current codes going on. It's a C1252 and a C1256. So this is hydro booster pump motor problem, and this is the accumulator low pressure, and that corresponds to probably the alarm he was getting. There was a low pressure alarm. So let's see if we can look up some information via the tablet itself, because it's connected up to the internet. I'll click on the search function. Let's see what it comes up with. So it automatically put that code into Google search. And then let's see, so it says the brake booster pump motor has been running for an abnormally long time, typically for at least 3 minutes. The code can point to issues with the brake booster pump assembly, the hydraulic brake booster, or the master cylinder solenoid. Here are some possible causes and troubleshooting steps. Check the vacuum pump's operation, wiring, fusing, and connectors. Faulty wheel speed sensor. Inspect the front and rear wheel speed sensors for damage, dirt, or loose connections. Clean and replace the sensors. Low brake fluid. We looked at the hydraulic brake booster. The brake fluid is not low. The ABS module wiring harness is damaged. The hydro booster pump motor has electrical faults. You might have to bleed the system, but he says he hasn't seen any leaks, so I doubt it's a leak in the system. And then ABS brake booster control module. Reprogramming may be required to clear codes and recalibrate the sensors. Master cylinder solenoid. When replacing the master cylinder solenoid, perform 0-point calibration. I remember doing 0-point calibration on a GX470 using the TechStream program, and I suppose this Topdon scanner will do the same thing for me. So a lot of different possibilities for this problem. So now let's go back and check the possible causes for the other one. So I'll click on the search function for this one. And again, it pulls up a Google search, and let's just see what AI is going to say about this one. So here we go. Frequent buzzing sound from the ABS pump. So we were hearing some buzzing sound. There's an internal seal leakage in the brake booster actuator. And because this thing sits a lot, he doesn't use it that often right now. So maybe some of the seals dried out or something, and it's causing an internal leak. And it says this is a major expensive repair, often $900 to $1,100 for parts alone. Actually, I think it's more expensive than that. It requires the brake actuator assembly and bleeding the system with specialized tools. And it says, example, TechStream. But the Topdon should be able to do the same thing the TechStream does. And then it gives you associated codes. So at least it tells us the codes that have popped up in the braking system. Now we have to do the hard part and figure out what the culprit is and spend the least amount of money as possible to fix the problem. All right, so we know the problem currently with the brake system based off of these two codes. So I'm going to go back out of this and go back out again. Now what I want to do, and so this is kind of cool, it shows you in red that there's some faults there. So it shows a 2 there, letting you know that there's 2 fault codes that you can read and figure out what could be the culprit. But now I'm going to go into the ECM because he is getting a rough start. And let's see if the misfire counters are picking up any misfires. It says the ECU controls fuel injection, engine timing, knock control, engine idling speed, self-diagnostics function, backup function in extraordinary circumstances. Additionally, it controls the automatic transmission. So I'm going to click on next. And I'm going to go to data stream. But before I do that, I'm going to have Peter start the vehicle again. All right, the engine is running. I'm going to click on data stream. Okay, so the tablet has now accessed all the information from the ECU that it can. And we'll just go through and look through this. It's got a fuel system monitor. Misfire monitor is available. EGR monitor is not available. It has an O2 sensor heat monitor, another O2 sensor monitor. The AC monitor is not available. The second air monitor not available. It's got an EVAP system monitor. The heated catalyst monitor is not available, but another catalyst monitor is. It's showing that the EGR monitor 2 is completed. So that's part of what happens when you want to get a smog check. They're looking to make sure all your system monitors are complete. So there's all these different air monitors, fuel system. Right here, this one is showing the short-term fuel trim. The next one is showing the long-term fuel trim. And then there's a short-term fuel trim number 2 and a second one for the long-term fuel trim. It's showing the engine idling speed right now, which is 730 RPMs. The vehicle speed is obviously 0 because we're not moving. It shows the amount of ignition advance. The intake air, that's the air temperature. So I can change that to Fahrenheit. I could click on this to change the value. You click on this and see now it changed the Fahrenheit. So the intake air temperature is currently showing 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit. It's showing the mass air sensor, so that value must be how much air is entering the engine. It's giving you a value for the throttle position sensor, some other O2 sensor stuff. It's got the accelerator position, the throttle position, that would be at the throttle body on the top of the engine. Some other things for throttle body, throttle motor. I don't know what the ECTS actuator is. Accelerator learn value. Okay. Here's the automatic transmission fluid temperature, and it's reading probably Celsius. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to change that value to Fahrenheit. Okay. So now it's actually reading nearly 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And knowing your automatic transmission fluid temperature is really nice when you're doing a fluid renewal on a sealed transmission, one of the newer Toyotas, like on a second or third gen Tacoma or any other newer Toyota that's not really old. You're going to be able to access the automatic transmission fluid temperature, and then you're going to be able to see the temperature to where you can dial in the fluid level, because the fluid level needs to be checked at a certain temperature. If you're too cold or too hot, you're not going to get an accurate fluid level in your transmission pan. So let's keep on going. The injector, so I think that's showing the injector pulse. And with that injector pulse, they're showing the unit is in milliseconds. So it's a 2.8 millisecond pulse. And then you can click on this and you can get a graphical image of what that looks like. At least I thought you would. There we go. So you can get a graphical image of what the injectors are doing. Now, you have to be pretty good at engine diagnostics, and that's where a YouTube channel like Scanner Danner would come in and help you out to be able to use this graphical information to let you know, are you having a problem with the injectors or are they okay? So I'll get out of that. And let's continue on and see what else the Topdon scanner will tell us. So this is really helpful. It's giving you the misfire counters. So right now, it's not showing any misfires that I could see. So cylinder 4 doesn't have any misfires. Cylinder 3, 2, 1, 8, 7, 6, 5. No misfires counted on any of those cylinders. So even though he has a rough start in the morning, he isn't showing any misfires. I don't know what this value means for the ignition. Let's keep on going down the list. The ECT power mode is on. That's a transmission button you could push to help you when you're going up hills. It basically holds the gears a little bit longer. And it looks like that's it. So this was a demonstration of the type of information you can read from the engine control module or the ECU to help you figure out different problems you're having with the engine or the transmission and other parts of the vehicle, like all of the emission systems and that sort of thing. So that was a quick down and dirty example of how you can use a scanner like this Topdon 1 scanner to help you diagnose a problem with your vehicle and send you in the right direction to make the repair. So now I want to go through and explain some other functions that the scanner can do. So you saw me use the Diagnostics one, and this feature allows you to perform diagnostic functions. It allows you to clear the diagnostic trouble codes. It allows you to view live data, read electronic control unit information, and perform hot function and active tests. If you go to the update, this will allow you to update the software. And because this tablet covers many automobile manufacturers, you'll see that there's updates for BMW right now, for Rolls-Royce, for Ford. So you can update it, but I haven't bothered updating the tablet for all those because I work strictly on Toyota Lexus. So I'll go back out of that. And then this tester function is for testing batteries. And you do have to have a certain module to help you do that. You have to have the BT Mobile Pro S product to be able to do that. I don't have that, so I won't be able to use the battery tester function unless I get that BT Mobile Pro S product. And then the demo mode, this function is designed to help users experience and become familiar with diagnostic procedures. So you could click on that, you put in the manufacturer, and then you can learn some information from that. The driver preferences, it's exclusive to the Topdon 1, and it enables configuration of hidden features and personalization settings within the vehicle system. The maintenance, it contains over 50 maintenance services, including oil reset, throttle adaptation, EPB reset, I don't know what that stands for, the steering angle reset, ABS bleeding, DPF regeneration, BMS reset, injector coating, tire pressure reset, and airbag reset, and other functions. So it's a big, long list of different things you can do. The library allows you to access reports, fault code data, data stream report, and other relevant data. So you have a diagnostic trouble code repair guide. You got technical service bulletins you can look up. I don't know what DLC location. Oh, that tells you where your OBD2 port is. I think that's what that does. Warning light library of codes. It's got all these different functions. Battery, I could look up the user manual, so I could click on the user manual for this. I could click on that, and then it loads the whole user manual for you. So that's pretty slick. So you don't have to actually look at it on another tablet or a phone. You have it right here at your fingertips. And then you have mail, so I'll click on that. And the mail feature, this feature allows users to purchase or renew the Topdon software products or services, such as gateway access and software packages. So the Topdon 1 does come with a software package that's good for a certain amount of time. I don't know how long it is for this particular one, but it's usually in that realm of like 1 or 2 years. And then after that, it's optional whether you want to upgrade it. And that's mainly important if you're working on the newest of new vehicles, then you'll want to be able to get those updates. But if you're primarily working on some older vehicles, most likely you're not going to be getting a lot of like new information for those vehicles because they've been well established. But like I say, if you're working on a 2025 or a 2026 vehicle and an update is available, it might be in your best interest to pay for the update. So I'll go back out of that. And then the user info, it just gives information about who I am, my email address, my password, that sort of stuff. Your firmware update, other settings. So there it is there. So I just wanted to share with you some of the other functions that the Topdon 1 tablet can do for you. All right, I'm all done with the demonstration of this Topdon 1 scanner. I wish I was a little bit more knowledgeable on the subject of using scanners for automobile diagnostics, but I'm a beginner and we all start somewhere. And so this is the beginning of my journey to being a better diagnostician for auto mechanics. Like I mentioned, at different times in my history of working on vehicles, I was very much a parts changer and wasn't too scientific on the approach to figure out what exactly needed to be replaced to save money on the repair. So having a scanner like this is going to help me better diagnose and figure out the exact problem without just throwing parts at it. If you're like me and you've never owned a scanner and you're looking at all the different manufacturers, I would have to say Topdon is a very good choice for you. And that's because they have a full array of scanners, all the way to very affordable ones to someone just getting started, all the way up to the very, very professional ones that dealerships and other independent shops would own. So you'll be able to find one that fits your need in the Topdon lineup. And like I mentioned earlier, one of the huge benefits of Topdon is their customer service. It's excellent. And so when you're first starting out and you're new to this type of stuff, having a company that will answer the phone and help you out pretty quickly is very, very helpful. So that was one of my big factors of choosing Topdon, because of their excellent customer service and for their excellent reputation in the scanners that they make. So without a doubt, in the future, I am going to be using this Topdon 1 scanner quite a bit to help me diagnose problems with the vehicles I'm bringing into my new shop in Bend, Oregon. In the video description, I will provide a discount code that you can use on Amazon to get a discount on this scanner. I think the discount is only for this month, the month of March. So if you are thinking about getting a scanner and you think this Topdon 1 scanner might be right for you, then don't hesitate, because you could save yourself a decent amount of money by using that discount code. With all that said, we thank you for watching Toyota Time with Timmy the Toolman and Sean. I want to thank Peter for letting me use his 100 Series Land Cruiser to test out this Topdon 1 scanner. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. Also click on that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we put up new content on our channel, which we are always putting up very helpful and sick mods kind of content like this video here. Peace out. Happy wrenching. Happy automotive diagnosing. Bye-bye.